Rotate. Hey guys, you're back in the garage with TheEZGZ and my dog baby. So, what's got on the menu for today? It's hot out there. It's July and it's hot as a firecracker. I'll tell you that. These little open cars, they're not all they're cracked up to be when you're sitting in a traffic light and it's close to 100 degrees out and some hot vehicles all around you. But I've noticed just recently some handling issues with my tub buggy. And it's hard to describe, and I kind of heard a noise occasionally, like something had shifted or something, a little clunk type noise, and it's like, normally this thing, even though it has such a short wheelbase, 85 inches, it handles, it's a one-hand steering operation here. And lately I noticed I just haven't felt comfortable with that, and it's like, I wonder what my tire pressure is. I started thinking about different things. Occasionally on my Baja, the bolt for the trailing arm comes loose on the driver's side. And I thought, I'm going to check this out. Let me grab a flashlight. Can't see it here, but I didn't want to be working out there in the sun. And we just got back from the store. Okay, there's the booger in question. And it takes a 17mm Allen wrench to tighten that baby down. And you can tighten it down all you want. I'm always leery if I do have that trailing arm off, and I have swapped trailing arms and bent them, and various things happen. As they're 50 years old now, and they get beat up and the bushings wear out. Here's the little culprit right here. This is what it looks like, and comes with these special nice fitting washers. I'll show you underneath the car here. And usually you could take this 17mm Allen wrench and tighten it down, make sure you get it started, don't cross thread it, and then you can use your foot for the final tightening underneath the car. At least that's what I've always done. And it's like, man, that thing is so tight. And if I am really gonna go a cross-country trip, or if it pops into my head, sometimes I'll just check them, you know. This car, it was the passenger side. We'll get out of the sun here now that I'm totally blinded. And you think to yourself, okay, I'll carry this in my tool bag. This thing alone's got to be like 3 pounds, you know. So let's crawl underneath the car and I'll show you what I came up with for a solution. Actually, I've got it right here. This is my solution. I just made this, and I took this is 3/4 inch by 3/16 thick, and I drilled a, what was it? I'll put it down in the comment sections. This is I went with the metric bolt, 10mm times 1.50, and I got this nylock nut, and I tapped this bar, threaded it, so when I put the nut on, now this probably isn't even making sense to some of you, but I think others might already be way ahead of me. The head of the bolt is 17mm. If you get in a pinch and you're out in the field, you can rob a bolt off another spot on your car and use the head of that bolt to take the plug out of your transmission, or the drain plug out of the bottom of your transmission, or the trailing arm bolt. Yeah, never, when you're short on Allen screws, always remember that you have a wrench size and that you might be able to get it with a bolt. So now, let's go underneath the car. Yeah, here's another piece. I already got it started for the other side of the car, even though that's not giving me any trouble. I've got all the stuff out. I might even make another one for the Baja. But let me just show you how I'm solving my problem. Or let's just say, knock on wood here, I'm going to attempt to solve this problem. I have lost that bolt on a trail ride one time, and my trailing arm was just clanging and clacking. I should have taken the tire off. Here's the little booger in question, okay? So, I've got my little bracket, and I'm putting my bolt head into that trailing arm, and then, as you can maybe see, alright, I'm going to take a hammer and just lightly tap that over there like that, and then I'm going to take this hose A clamp, or is it a hose B clamp? I've lost track. So now, this is a 3-inch stainless steel hose clamp. I think a 2 3/4 might work. Got a little bit of extra here. But I'm going around the torsion bar assembly itself, the torsion bar beam, or whatever you'd like to call it. And this is not low enough where it's going to create a problem smacking it with rocks and stuff. There is a portion of the body that is lower than this. I don't know why I'm being so particular about this. You got the general gist of it, okay? Now, like I said, that piece of band iron is threaded. So now I'm going to secure that, maybe, with my lock nut, nylock lock nut. So there's no way that the bolt can really turn. This is stupid putting the nut on here, and it's not ever going to be in tension. So this is redundant as heck and not necessary if you do the other part correctly. But I just thought I'd be anal. So now the main problem bolt, that's no way that's gonna unturn and move all of this stuff. It just can't happen. And even if, let's just say something, an act of God, the threads got torn out or something, it's acting like a stop to prevent the bolt from unscrewing. It may have been well enough just to make a bracket and clamp it in place like this, but when you talk about a press and threading something, it probably could have given you something to you know, make it fold it over. I don't know. I just don't ever want to have to deal with this again unless I want to personally take the trailing arm off to be serviced. So I hope this helps somebody, and thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out. case somebody else wants to do that. This is a cheap old Sears Craftsman metric tap and die set from I've had for so long. This handle is super good. This is the 10 by 1.50 tap, and it says right on it 11/32 drill. So if you have a standard set of drill bit, it is one that should be in your setup. 11/32 right there. So yeah, so you're in luck with that if you're using a standard fractional drill, and worked out real good. Try to get that in there nice and flat and square. Some rapid tap, all standby. These other things. I've seen guys put taps in the drill press and just turn them on, and that just freaks me out. But I guess it depends on the material, and you just eyeball it. It's got a tapered cutting thread to it, so it kind of wants to go square into the hole, and just let the tap do the work, but just bear down, and then it'll just sort of catch, and it'll straighten it out. But if you have a long piece of material, solid material, it'll now we're still cutting. Once we get through, this is only 3/16 of an inch thick, but I'm still going to back it off to break those little pieces of metal in there. If you, not always, depends on if you're doing steel or brass or aluminum, but it makes for a smoother cut thread. A lot of nuts and bolts are rolled. They're not really cut, and when you cut them like this, if you don't get that chip out of the way, it'll interfere with the cut of the next set of cutters, and you'll get these little pits and rough edges. And yeah, that came out pretty decent. Got a bolt around here someplace. Check that out. So yeah, you could capture this, put a nut on both sides of it, I suppose. There's a lot of things you could do, and you just have to come up with your own ideas. And the long and short of it, I'm making the other side. I screwed up my bend, so I started over. So since I had the camera here and everything, I thought, well, might as well video it. And had the material, might as well try to do it right. It's not like we have some sort of a race deadline. I hope it gets a little bit cloudy. I can't eyeball anything anymore. My eyes suck. I have to rely on all the crutches that are available, and take my time and take breaks. I bought this power bandsaw 10 or 12 years ago. Where'd he go? And for a job that I had in mind, was going to need a lot of cutting, and then something came up and I changed my mind. So might as well use it. Can see better with daylight anyhow. What happens is I did not calculate the thickness of the material properly. I went the opposite direction because I didn't get the bend perfect on that first one. So, but I went the wrong way, and I just didn't like the way it came out. So we're doing it over. 1 1/4. No, that might be where I screwed up. It wasn't from the end. Ah, I just got it right, guys. That's how I screwed up. It was from the center of the hole, and I made it from the end of the piece and wondered, why did it come out like that? So, yeah, I guess that does make a difference. Okay. Oh, you gotta laugh at yourself, you know? You have to have a sense of humor. Yes, indeed. Measure 4 times. Maybe you'll get lucky eventually, right? That's what it was. I think I had the right intentions. All right, tighten it down. Get the BFH. All right, now, oh, it's gonna be too much. Do I get the feeling we're gonna be doing this again? This is purely a guess. All right. And this one, I'm telling you, I got an electric fuel pump right above that. So you're just gonna have to take my word for it. There ain't no way I'm gonna put this on a board. And I should paint this, but I just rattle can painted the whole frame of that car, and it's lasted 20 years. Most of the paint's still on there. Hey babe, how's it going? You had your supper a little later in the day. I had my self a nice shower. It was just too hot. Today was a hard day. Had to cut the grass. Thought it was gonna rain here, but I'm looking for my flashlight. I wanted to keep it honest with you here and show you. Okay, this is the passenger side and how it turned out. And you know, you've got your spring plate on here. If that bolt does fall out like it did with me, I was going down a trail and going over uneven ground, and I felt that clunking. And if you have some strange handling characteristics with your car, this is definitely something that you want to check out and look at. And I made an observation while I was reviewing this video to edit it. I got all this stuff in the way here. I got my fuel pump and my regulator and all that in the way. It's right underneath that regulator. I'm going to try to... Got a little sunshine now. Hopefully you can see it. And I wanted to show you that I did complete the job at hand. And as I was watching the video, I made a personal observation that I hadn't considered before. And if you look at the factory bolt, what do you suppose those grooves are for, huh? What do you suppose they would put a groove in there like that? Now, I don't, I thought about Loctite, and I kind of wanted to have an idea of putting some lubrication on here. Not sure when they assembled it originally if they did do that. There is some rubber in there. Sometimes lubricant will degrade that, but there is a bushing. The aftermarket has addressed it with urethane bushings, and a lot of guys with these off-road IRS suspensions put the extended trailing arms, and the whole thing is aftermarket. But it occurred to me that with that groove being right there, if you tighten it down as tight as you can with that Allen screw, and you've kind of done a reconditioning on that, I don't see why you couldn't just, you can see that little slot there. Why couldn't you just take a punch and a hammer and smack that thing right there to lock it in? I think that could solve the problem a lot simpler than this. And I'm sure somebody's thinking to themselves, well, yeah, instead of using a clamp, you could weld it. Yeah, but how are you going to get the bolt out? Everything has to be able to move back out of the way in order to get the bolt out in case you bend it. And you're more apt to bend these things in a off-road application. The longer it is, the more leverage it has, and they do all kinds of things to beef up the stock arms and on and on and on. But airtime's expensive. You come down on one wheel and you've got a lot more force. You can bend the whole thing. You get these big offset tires. You put a 12-inch rim like this up against your brakes, you're just giving more leverage and just asking for something to happen. So these are all things to take into consideration. A buddy of mine with a sand car, Carl Hahn, had welded up something similar, which kind of gave me the idea. But until this reoccurred, and I thought to myself, I need to come up with something. And I didn't want to get underneath there and try to weld something up. And I'm pretty sure this is gonna take the test of time. It's a stainless steel clamp, and I probably should have painted it, but kind of checking it out, everything needs to come apart on this thing. One of these days I'm gonna take this thing apart and scuff it up good and put some more paint on something. So, hope this all helps somebody. Hope you're enjoying a nice July day. Grass always looks so nice after it's mowed, but it sure tired me out. This little job on the car and cutting the grass, and I'm done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out.